The Djinn are mysterious spirits made up of elemental energies. They have deep ties to the continent of Elona and are often found bound to spiritually strong areas. An air of mystery surrounds each Djinn. They have the ability to turn invisible or shape-shift into another form, much to the confusion of other species. But above all, they are powerful. While various elementals are often servants of the spellcasters who summon them, Djinn have free will. They are sapient and can communicate with others. Djinn are deeply connected to elemental powers given that they themselves are made up of elemental energy. 4 types of Djinn can be found in the world: earth, air, fire, and water. Some Vabian myths believe Djinn to be the protectors of the natural world, which makes them enemies and polar opposite of the unnatural demons that can be found in other dimensions. Djinn can be found throughout Elona, most prominently in the hidden city of Ahdashim, located in northern Vabi, a gigantic, beautiful city of stone and gold. As the Djinn built the city, they created an elemental construct known as the Key of Ahdashim. This key was directed with selecting 4 different Djinn to become cardinals of their elements, where they would anchor the flow of elemental magic within the city and direct it towards all lesser Djinn, essentially choosing the fate of all Djinn. As the key considered various Djinn for the role of cardinal, 2 Djinn were considered but deemed unsuitable for the position. The water Djinn Zommoros, who made hasty decisions and had issues with gambling, as well as the fire Djinn Qadim, who had a quick temper and was too aggressive. Centuries after the founding of Ahdashim, the merchant princes of Vabi discovered a way to control the Djinn and bound many to their service, forcing the Djinn to protect the merchants against any threat, such as that of Palawajoko or Verashasa. They took control of the city of Ahdashim and used it as a fortress to protect themselves. After Palawajoko's conquest of the entirety of Elona in 1175 after Exodus, Ahdashim was abandoned. The Djinn who were once controlled by the princes were now free. With their freedom, the Djinn learned more about the ley line that ran through the will of Ahdashim, learning of its power and recognizing its danger if it were to be used by someone with nefarious intentions. As such, the Key and Cardinals decided to place a protective barrier around the city, while also renovating the city to meet their new needs. The 2 Djinn, Zommoros and Qadim, had a problematic relationship and began to form a rivalry between each other. With Zommoros' addiction to gambling, he ended up owing Qadim a large debt. Qadim continuously won every wager between the 2, and eventually one specific wager forced Zommoros out of Ahdashim and into exile. The water Djinn wandered the lands of Elona before happening upon an Elonian by the name of Myani. The 2 wandered together before eventually leaving the continent entirely and traveling to Krita. After arriving in the city of Lion's Arch, Zommoros and Myani began to form a working relationship. Zommoros had previously acquired, through a high-stake bet, an incredibly powerful artifact known as the Mythwright Cauldron. This tool had the ability to create incredibly powerful items, and even life itself. Upon receiving the artifact, Zommoros protected it closely, hiding it within the Mystic Forge. The Mystic Forge is the realm in which Zommoros resides and houses treasures and the means to use the Mythwright Cauldron. Through many different script that Zommoros had contracted, the Djinn is able to create many different things within the Mystic Forge, including miniature versions of creatures found throughout Tyria, as well as legendary weapons. Myani, outside of the Mystic Forge, managed business with the people of Tyria who were traveling through and resided in Lion's Arch. Overseeing the collection of items deposited into the Mystic Forge and the various items coming out, Zommoros rarely communicated to anyone but Myani and saw an audience with even fewer. It is not until the year 1331 after Exodus where Zommoros, as well as a few of his Skrit assistants, appeared outside of the Mystic Forge and began inviting people to tour it. The prior scholar Glinna, as well as a group of adventurers that worked with her in the past, had received a direct invitation, to which Glinna and the group promptly accepted. Arriving in the Mystic Forge, the squad of adventurers began falling through the opening and down into large piles of gold. Looking back, the group can see thousands of gold pieces and various items following them down to the piles. Looking forward, the group can gaze upon the large expanses beyond the gold piles, showing just how magnificent this realm is. And directly in front of them was Scholar Glinna waiting with Zommoros.
Welcome, my friends, to the Mystic Forge. I am Zommoros, and this is my realm. Thank you all for accepting my invitation. There's just one tiny bit of red tape before we get started.
Paperwork. That's thorough.
Just the usual waiver, non-disclosure, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Splendid! Great, good. Let's commence with the tour then.
So, all the stuff that people throw down here, it just accumulates into piles?
Accumulates? What? No. It's meticulously organized by professionals.
Scrit.
Professional scrit. Anyway, there's a portal just up ahead that will take us to... Oh dear. That is a big, angry thing. So, Zommoros, I see you've chosen your representatives.
Your what?
Very well, I accept. 3 challenges to decide the true owner of your mystic forge, and the first stands before you.
This is a really weird tour.
There never was a tour.
In front of the group was Qadim, the fire Djinn who is a rival to Zommoros. Behind him was the Conjured Amalgamate, a golem-like being with 2 large arms made from broken pieces of buildings similar to the architecture nearby, fused together with fire magic. The group charges onto the platform and begins to engage the construct. Conjured swords and shields appear on the platform and begin attacking the group, while the Conjured Amalgamate slams its hands towards the group. As the group and construct fight, Qadim begins to talk.
You expect to win our little wager with these ants, Zommoros? No wonder you're so deep in debt.
What wager? What are you talking about?
Zommoros made a bet. Your friends versus my 3 hand-picked challengers. If he wins, unlikely, his debts to me are cleared. If I win, the Mystic Forge and everything in it is mine. Ignore him, please. Focus!
Zommoros, addicted to gambling, has made another bet, this time for everything. The squad of adventurers have been roped in to help Zommoros and prevent the Mystic Forge from falling into the hands of Qadim. As such, they must now defeat 3 of Qadim's hand-picked challengers, the first being the Conjured Amalgamate. The group picks up the fallen swords and shields and begins to use them against the construct. Suddenly, the Amalgamate begins to suck up thousands of items from the piles surrounding the entrance to the forge, and then begins to spit them back out at the group, causing devastating damage if the group does not counter the construct. As the group is able to shelter from the construct's attacks and lash out against it during opportune moments, they are able to defeat the first of Qadim's challenges.
It's unexpected, but impressive. I'll have to make the next challenge more interesting.
Thank you.
So, you're in Hawk, you staked the Mystic Forge, and you tricked us into fighting for you. Have I missed anything?
Of course, it sounds bad when you say it like that. I needed warriors, and Qadim isn't the waiting type. See them ahead. May I present your second challenge? That's it? You know what? Fine! Double or nothing.
Wait, what?
If they lose, you can keep them. But if we win, you have to pay me everything I owe you. Deal. Now, all you have to do is find my pet before he decimates your little operation. What? Hey, that isn't fair!
Zommoros, critical failure in ecto-containment. Shark is doing everything.
Right. Change of plans. If that ectoplasm gets free, that's bad for me. Us, bad for us. Let's go!
Good luck?
Yeah, thanks.
The second challenge now waits before them. Qadim has let loose a sand shark throughout the areas ahead, which threatens to destroy Zommoros' entire operation. What lies before the group now is a confusing maze of various portals, buildings, and the inner workings of the Mystic Forge. Locations where Zommoros attempts to enlarge mini-pets with magic, to great failure, where the millions of globs of ectoplasm are stored, the location where the various different items that enter the Mystic Forge are stored, and more.
There you are. You know, I'll admit I was rather impressed with how you handled my first little challenge.
It wasn't little.
This specimen is smaller, but no less interesting.
Fury
It thrives
rising!
on the cast-off items of more advanced creatures. Sounds like our friend Zommoros, doesn't it? Why, without this forge to spew out useless trinkets, he's nothing.
Why are you doing this, Qadim?
Me? Zommoros put you up to this. I wouldn't have gotten you involved.
feels
You don't stand a chance. I'm a collection of every beast, Tyrion and beyond. And when you fail, you, this forge, and Zommoros will belong to me.
As the group tracks down the sand shark, they are able to eliminate the threat and arrive in a new area for the final challenge.
Hey, any problems?
None. What is this place?
This is the secret entrance to the heart of Zommoros' forge, the Mythwright Cauldron. What? How do you? I'll admit, you nearly had me fooled. But this place is far more than scrit and piles of junk. The cauldron is what forges your legendary relics. It is an artifact of incredible power, and I want it. I've new playthings for you. Defeat them, and perhaps I'll give you your freedom. I present your final challenge. The twin Largos assassins, Nikare and Kenut.
Look, sister. The Djinn is throwing us some meat.
Amusing.
The group has learned the true intentions of Qadim, the Fire Djinn, a collector of exotic creatures, wishes to have the Mythwright Cauldron for himself, and in a last attempt to win the bet, he brings forth two of his most exotic creatures. The Largos are a mysterious race who are not found in many places throughout the world, but they are here to fight against the squad. With no other choice in front of them, the group charges towards the twin Largos. The twins fight the group one at a time, using powerful water magic to blast at the group, before forcing the group to separate into two small squads. Each Largos attempts to fight against their half of the group, but eventually fall together. With the defeat of the Largos, Qadim has now lost the wager with Zommoros.
What? Impossible! You've lost, Qadim! Now, I do believe the Djinn bylaws guarantee me payment. Damn the bylaws! You think I'd let you squander the Mythwright Cauldron on your magical pointed sticks? Out of my way! What is he doing? He can't do that!
This flaming hole in the wall says otherwise.
He can't have the cauldron. It's why I built this forge. To protect it. To hide its power from the world.
So you're asking us to help you. No bets. No wagers.
No bets. No wagers.
Good. Then lead the way.
The group charges after Qadim.
This is your last chance, Qadim. You know little of chance, my friend. Why? Why do you want the cauldron? Because I thought my collection was complete. A menagerie of every creature from Tyria and beyond. But then, I learned of this cauldron. I will take it, and I will forge new life with its power. Something magnificent. Something legendary. New life? No, he can't. The cauldron isn't made for the living. There's no telling what twisted terrors would come out of it.
In front of them lies the Mythwright Cauldron and a new threat. Qadim wishes to use the cauldron to create new life, life beyond imagination, and new life that he can control. The group charges up the stairs and opens the door into the heart of the cauldron. There, Zommoros and Qadim are locked in battle. The group rallies together and begins for their toughest challenge yet.
Actually, you know what my menagerie is missing? A water Djinn. What? No! Qadim!
As the group engages Qadim in combat, Qadim traps Zommoros within his lamp, removing him from the fight. The party must now face Qadim alone, along with his hordes of minions, fighting through hydras, destroyers, wyverns, and more. The group sends members into the lamp to search through Qadim's menagerie for Zommoros, finding powerful creatures to aid them in combat along the way. Qadim fights the group with plentiful attacks, igniting areas of the platform while striking against his enemies. As the group searches through the menagerie for a third time, they find Zommoros within and break him free. The squad and Zommoros unite on the platform and begin to work together to fight Qadim. Zommoros, wielding both of the legendary great swords of Sunrise and Twilight in his hands, he helps strike down the two wyverns attacking the group, and then changes his weapons to the legendary sword, the Shining Blade, as well as the legendary staff, the Bifrost. The squad maneuvers around the moving platforms as Qadim and Zommoros taunt each other.
This cauldron can forge new life, incredible creatures beyond your wildest dreams, yet you waste it. Waste it? We're creating the greatest weapons in Tyria. Hold still and let me show you just what they're capable of. I can't believe you sided with these heads. What kind of Djinn are you? My creations travel the world, striking down evil, protecting the weak. What do you create aside from chaos? My menagerie is a testament to the everlasting and all-powerful Djinn. So that's what this is all about? You see the races of this world as insects to be collected? That is all they are. And you deign to give them
History
this world's
is
greatest
mine.
armaments. You are a traitor to your kind. With this cauldron, I will forge the most magnificent creatures you mortals have ever seen. They will obey my whims and wipe the unworthy from the face of Tyria. The Djinn will rise, with me as their one true ruler.
As the group charges towards Qadim once again, they are able to strike him down, except in doing so, Qadim falls into the cauldron.
No! He mustn't fall in! No, no! Don't worry! We just need to get him out before... Oh. That's probably bad.
Qadim transforms into a shadowy figure and flies away from the cauldron, transformed in unpredictable ways. In the aftermath of the battle, Zommoros sends a script to the hidden city of Ahdashim to spy on the Djinn, who eventually sends word to Zommoros that Qadim entered the city. Unable to stop tending to the Mystic Forge and having been exiled from the city, Zommoros sends word to Glenna and the adventurers of the situation. Arriving to Ahdashim, the squad could see that everything was not okay. The city had been slightly branded as Krakatork made his flight south. The way to the front gate had branded a mast in the area. Glenna welcomed the squad to the city when suddenly...
Hey, the gang's all here! But the gate's all the way over there. And the front yard's kinda hostile.
Perhaps a little more respect for the great city of Ahdashim. I am the Key, and you are on my doorstep, outsider.
There's an orb talking to me. Again. The accounts didn't describe this accurately. Why aren't you on the gate?
There was an incident.
Is that incident named Qadim? Zommoros sent us.
Of course he did. Zommoros has always acted without thinking.
Could we maybe discuss this inside? Those open rifts are making me nervous.
Gather all the pieces of me Qadim scattered around the courtyard. I must be at the gate to open it.
We'll clear the way and collect your parts as we go.
As the group clears the courtyard of Brandon and brings the key to the gate, the Key is able to open the gate and allow the squad entry into the city proper. As the group enters the city, Glenn and the Key begin to talk.
Take me to the fountain ahead. It will restore me.
Hurts, doesn't it?
We're inside Ahdashim! Our once-in-a-lifetime chance to see Djinn in their natural habitat!
The Djinn are not an exotic species for priory study, little scholar. Remember, you are but guests in this house.
Well, magically speaking, your house seems to be listing to the side. I'm getting wildly unstable readings here.
Wonderful. Now be on your...
Oh, Key. Whole again, are we? How did you like being cast aside? The fate of Djinn decided by Qadim the Peerless.
Just because you've stolen a chair does not mean the seat at the table belongs to you.
Your Ahdashim will crumble. My domain will rise from the rubble. Be ready to bow to me in the world that comes after.
What'll happen if he succeeds in draining the ley line completely?
Devastation. Ahdashim will fall. A void of corruption will spread to every Djinn and beyond. To nature itself.
Okay. So, really suboptimal for all of us. How do we restore the power balance?
Air and earth. Both traitors must be dispatched before Qadim's hold on the ley line can be loosened.
In order to restore the balance, the group must first defeat the two traitorous cardinals of Earth and Air. Two passages branch off east and west from the Leystone axis, with the two cardinals residing in areas off of each passage. As the group heads east, they discover Cardinal Adina, an Earth Djinn wielding extraordinary power as she manipulates the Earth to her advantage, raising large hands from the ground to attack the group, morphing the arena to her advantage, and casting large sand walls that instantly kill anyone who touches them. As the group strikes down the Earth Cardinal, they can make their way through the West Passage to discover Cardinal Sabir, an Air Djinn equally powerful to Adina, but with mastery of air instead of earth. He casts large attacks of lightning that chain to his enemies, while also blasting the entire arena. Wisps appear to pelt the squad around the arena, as well as when he moves up the platforms of his conservatory. The air bends to Sabir's will as he is able to summon a large tornado that instantly knocks away and kills any squad member who touches it. But just like Adina, the group is able to best Sabir and officially defeat both of the traitorous cardinals. With the cardinals dealt with, the squad reconvenes with Glenna and the Key at the Leystone axis.
Your champions did well. Their tactics...
Did you think I was joking?
Ah!
What did you do?
I knew it! The pylon, the fountain, you, the cardinals, it's all connected to the ley line, and to Qadim! I've made you...
You tamper with energies you do not understand.
But I do understand ley lines. Here, use this flux disruptor on the pylons. It'll break Qadim's connection to them.
I will not see Djinn weaknesses exploited by you inside our own home. The fate of Djinn is not for outsiders to determine.
We're ready to do whatever it takes to defeat Qadim and save all the Djinn. Are you?
Our power is only meant to be handled by Djinn. But I can dampen the effects on you using the Well of Ahdashim.
Could we reconfigure the well to reverse the flow and drain Qadim of power?
As long as his stolen power channels to me. If the city is lost, I'll ensure the infection won't spread beyond Ahdashim.
What happens if the Key gets all that power and we have another Qadim on our hands?
First, let's handle the villain we know. And we'll deal with whatever comes after.
That's Qadim? What the flux has he become?
With a new plan laid out, the Key opens the gate ahead of them to reveal Qadim. The former Fire Djinn has been mutated and infused by the chaotic magic found within the Mythwright Cauldron, now even more powerful than before and capable of immense attacks of pure chaos. The group organizes themselves and begins to engage the Ether Djinn. 3 pylons surround Qadim, which empower him unless the group is able to disrupt the flow of magic between them and the Djinn. Qadim showers chaos down upon the group, igniting the arena with fire while also blasting the group with dark energies. Periodically, Qadim will charge at one of the pylons and destroy it, unleashing a large wave of energy upon the group. The magic in the arena is unstable as entropic distortions form that attempt to imbue themselves with the pylons. As Qadim destroys each of the pylons and the group battles him in the center of the arena, they are able to strike the Ether Djinn down.
Ahdashim's energy structure is completely changed.
An evolution. Never again will a few Djinn control the destiny of all. Now every Djinn shall be connected to Ahdashim and its energy. We will share the burden and the power, as your champions do.
The energy released from the death of Qadim was redirected by the Key to all the Djinn in the world, even Zommoros. Gone is the time where a few cardinals would control the destiny of all Djinn, and now is the time where all Djinn shall share the power together. In the aftermath of the battle, the squad can reconvene with Glenna and the Key. It was definitely quite the light show.
You know, you had me worried there for a second. I'm really glad you didn't end up going evil.
Power has never been my object. I aim to preserve the balance and the welfare of all Djinn.
Yeah, I see that now. Your early shadiness didn't make it obvious at the start.
It's a noble endeavor you've chosen. But you needn't always fear what you don't understand, little scholar.
Was this visit to Ahdashim all you hoped it to be?
Can't say I was expecting to witness a turning point in Djinn history.
We did our part. Qadim is gone for good.
And what's to stop another power-hungry Djinn from making a play in the future?
Maybe it's not up to us to solve all their issues. Who's to say we'd do any better?
Are you implying that we don't know everything? Bite your tongue. Speaking of Zommoros, any chance you'll lift his exile now?
I'm sure he'll find some way to make his presence felt in Ahdashim, regardless.
How exactly did you stabilize Ahdashim's leyline power?
I connected every living Djinn as an anchor point to the city. An equal distribution, regardless of power potential.
I still don't quite understand how Djinn far and wide can stabilize the ley line here in Ahdashim.
It's Djinn nature to guard our secrets. If I revealed everything to you, where would that leave us?
I can honestly say I would be less frustrated.
The Cardinals are dead, and you just upended Djinn society. What's next?
There was a time when the way of Cardinals fostered harmony and balanced unity. But it's clear our old way also bred discord, greed for power. I suppose amendment is good once every few millennia.
Yeah, you Djinn seem to be overdue for some top-down restructuring. Maybe some form of timocracy, like Istan.
Evolution doesn't imply erasure, little scholar. Whatever path the Djinn carve will be our own.
With the threat of Qadim neutralized, and the balance of power in Djinn society shifted, the fate of all Djinn now rests in their collective hands.